Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of the Laugh at Pat podcast, #Patchats. Now, I know many of you have come to know and love the fact that I always mispronounce the names of all of the guests that I have on the show. That it's a lovable trait of the Laugh at Pat podcast that I butcher the names of the people who very nicely gave me some of their time and talked to me for the show. But, I've been doing some self-reflection, and I think that maybe the new direction that the Laugh at Pat podcast needs, the new direction that Patchats must follow is actually just taking the time to learn the correct name pronunciation of the guests. And that's what I did today. My guest on the program today, Matilda Paulsson, a very funny comedian here in Berlin who I met at a couple of different open mics here, and just was someone who seemed kind of funny and silly and up for, doing little bits and stuff. And so I reached out to her and asked if she'd be willing to come talk to me a little bit. And she did. And we had a really fun and silly conversation. We talked about Matilda's life growing up in Sweden a little bit. The just kind of crazy amount of dogs that her mom has and what that was like. I probably got a little too fascinated with that. It probably should have been a short segment, but I devoted probably 10 minutes to her family's dog situation. So that was fun. We talked about her studying acting and going to New Zealand to kind of pursue that and then getting interested in comedy. We talked about her work now, which I can't even explain it. I still don't totally understand it, but I was definitely fascinated by it. And so I think you guys are going to really enjoy this conversation. This was a kind of a fun one, a silly one. Matilda is super funny. And so definitely, if you are interested in seeing live comedy in Berlin, when that happens again, you should definitely try to check her out. And in the meantime, enjoy our conversation together. Here it is, Matilda Paulsson. So to start, can you just tell me a little bit about yourself first, your name and how you pronounce it? Because the last 3 podcasts I did, I didn't ask, and then I tried to record the intro, and I was like, I don't know how to pronounce these people's names. I invited them, they gave me an hour of their time, and now I can only say their first name.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, it's just Matilda Paulsson. It's the most boring name. But I mean, if you want
I might have been able to pronounce that one. Yeah.
But if you want to say it in the Swedish way, it's Matilda.
Matilda. Okay. That
Yeah,
you
gotta have the little sway with it.
Matilda. Do you have to do the hand motion?
Yeah,
okay.
It's super Swedish.
Yeah, Matilda. So Matilda, and you say it the Swedish way because you're Dutch?
Yeah, actually, but it's just easier because people are like, Dutch, what is that? I'm like, oh, it's Sweden. It's just how it is.
No, but so you grew up in Sweden, and so what did you grow up in, a small town or a city, or what?
I was a bit all over the place, to be honest. I mean, I grew up mostly in a little village, but then my mom is a crazy dog lady, so she has 12 huskies now.
Oh shit!
Yeah. And then when we had 5 huskies, it's kind of on the verge of living in a house where it's just okay, there's a lot of dogs everywhere. So so we moved to a farm when I was 14, 15 or something, and then that's
So did she keep these dogs because maybe this is a very stupid question, but I mean, you live in Sweden, so is she sledding around with the dogs?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It's really fun, actually.
Have you gone dog sledding?
Yeah, but mostly since we live in the south where it's no snow, basically. It's basically weather here, but way windier and way colder and just anyway, it's fine.
So you're a fan?
Yes. Yeah, no, but usually around wintertime, when there is snow, we could actually go sledding. Otherwise, you just use basically large scooters or an ATV.
Like a go-kart kind of a thing.
Exactly. It's just whatever, guys. They just running. So, but then when now I know that she's been spending all of March in a bit north with her friends and all the dogs, except for like the old dogs, which are with my sister now at the farm because they don't like running anymore. So
Okay.
yeah.
Like, are you like a dog person? Because I feel like you could only go two ways. Like, either having that many dogs, you're like, I love them, or you're like, get me a fuck away from these dogs.
Yeah. This is why I moved to Berlin, man. No, I love
And you
them.
can hear them howl from here.
Yes, exactly. It's just like PTSD. I'm like, oh no. No, I love the dogs actually, but like that's the main reason. Also, like sometimes I just have to go back. Like usually it also like is to help out with a farm, but also sometimes I just have that like, oh, I haven't had my dog fixed for a while. I need to go back. Oh. I crave the dog fur in my food everywhere, you know? No, but I would say, like, I guess I'm a dog person. I would mostly say that I'm an animal person because I love animals, but dogs are just, like, I get along very well with dogs.
No, but, like, okay, so if you grew up around huskies, do you feel like then, like, small dogs, are you, like, no? Or are you still,
I love
like,
them.
you're okay.
I love rats too, you know. So it's like a small dog, rat is fine. Like every
I had
dog.
pet rats growing up. I wanted a dog, and my parents were like, "How about 2 rats?"
Like, oh, that's almost like if you put them on top of each other. That's like almost a dog.
That's almost a dog.
Yeah.
That was
Amazing.
actually one of the most traumatic moments of my childhood. My parents got me rats, and the first morning I woke up and I was so excited, and I like reached in to grab chocolate, and chocolate had just died the first night, and I just grabbed a dead rat as like a
oh no!
as like a 7-year-old. I was like, oh God, I wasn't ready to learn about death yet.
I know, right? Like it's at least 2 years of this, right? You gotta create a bond with them, and they're like, okay, it's fine, we had good times, but not like just like directly. Okay, death.
Yeah,
Death.
death, just right off the bat. Okay, so you before you moved to the farm, you were living in like a city or
A village.
A village,
A really
okay.
small one.
And like, you're at this point, your mom is just like, does it start with like one husky?
Yeah, that's how it starts, man. It's just one, and then it's just like, you gotta get more.
And then
more,
you're like,
one more,
it
one
needs
more,
a
one
friend.
more. Yeah.
And like, how quickly did it go from like, say like 1 to 5?
Okay, so it was a bit of a slow burn at first. We got
Okay.
our first dog, and then a year after, a second dog. But then that was like, okay, we're not gonna have any more dogs. But then, the sister of the second dog, her like owners, they were separating, so they couldn't take care of all the dogs, or like the dogs, and we're like, well, we have her sibling, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can take her in. It's fine. It's fine. So then we had 3 dogs, and then it was like 2 years, I think. And it was like, should we get another one? Should we get another one? It's fine. It's fine. Because my mom just started getting into the sledding like properly, and she's like, you know, just another one. It's fine. And then it was like every year until last year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like, how much food does that many dogs like?
Around as much food as 12 dogs need.
Just like the amount that you would imagine 12 large huskies would amount. That's the amount.
Oh, actually, they're really small. That's the thing. Like, because you know, like when you see huskies, you like expect these like huge woolly bully things, but they're actually like really small. They're like up to my knee or something.
Really?
Yeah. They're also all girls.
Okay.
But then also like that's actually like a bit like gnarly as well, because what we feed them is especially since they are like athletic dogs and so on, like they're sports things, blah blah blah.
They're finely tuned athletes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Elite dog.
Yeah.
No, they're like the most lazy dogs ever. They just like running sometimes, but mostly just lay around. But what we feed them is a mixture between like normal dog food, and then also we go to a slaughterhouse sometimes and get what is not fit for humans, basically. So it's
okay.
just a bunch of weird bloody meat.
That's like not fit for human consumption.
Exactly. I mean, like it is though, but it's just like, you know, humans are pickier. It's it's too many veins in this piece. And therefore it's like, well, give it
this
to
is
the
an
dogs.
organ we don't like.
Yeah, exactly. This is like, I give it to the dogs. They love it. They love it. Which they do. I just don't. It's just, the smell, man. Because I'm like kind of on the verge of being vegetarian-ish. Because I don't
You're flirting with vegetarianism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's mostly just because I mean, like, freaking love meat, right? But it's just like sometimes I'm like, ugh. No.
Yeah.
The smell, man, and then I get it anyway. Yeah, and I see what my dogs eat. So like it's.
Yeah. But now I didn't mean to like just only talk about huskies. I
I can go on with this, man.
It's just like you dropped this, and I was like, I'm a dog person. I'm fascinated. No, but like my partner and I, we like this like lane of TikToks. We're like pretty hip, so we're on the TikTok, you know. But like there's a whole like lane of people who have huskies, and then like also another breed of dog, and then the huskies are like super howly, and the other dog is not loving it, and we find these hilarious. And so I just, as soon as you said 12, I'm just imagining like, like
there's a lot of that all the time. It's like, cool, they're at it again.
Yeah.
Cool. Apparently, like it's a community thing for them. They're like, should we howl a little bit? Like, yeah, let's go howling. That's great. It's like, yeah, guys.
Is there any way to get them to stop once they get going? You just have to like let them tire themselves out, basically.
Yeah. And like they just do it whenever they feel like it. They can just be like, some dog starts, and it's like, and then the other one goes, and then they all start, and then they do it for like 30 seconds, and then everything's back to normal. It's like, okay, cool. Good. What's for breakfast, guys? Come
on. Okay, so you're 15, and then you guys moved to this farm. Now, as a 15-year-old, were you like psyched to get to go move out to a farm, or were you like, oh, what the fuck? Like, now we're going out. I don't know. I picture a farm being like out, kind of like on its own. Harder to see your friends. Harder like.
Oh yeah, I didn't have that many friends, so I was fine with it, man. It was all good. I mean, like, yeah, I still have my movies and I have my dogs. So I can live wherever, man. So it was great, man. I didn't really mind it. But then also, yeah, like since it was quite remote, like it's still like not that, like it's not out in the middle of nowhere. Or I mean, it kind of is, but it's like, I mean, you can still see civilization because there's just like potato freaking fields all around, but like it's still like a kilometer until the next bus stop and also neighbor.
Wow.
But like still, like you can just see it like from where you are living, but it's just like, I have to cross so many potato fields. Is it worth it? How much do I want to socialize?
Yeah,
not at all.
Not 4 potato fields worth.
Not exactly. It's like, ooh.
Wait, so, but like, was your only option to get around via bus?
Yeah, bus and train, because I had to take the bus to the train stop, and then the train to where I have all my friends, which is the city of Malmö, where I also went to school and so on. But that was also like, it was fine. It worked out.
Wait, so how long would it take you to go to school every day?
Like 30, 40 minutes, something.
Oh shit, that's kind of annoying.
No, actually it's kind of fine because I've always been like, especially when I lived in the little village part as well, like before, I think I had maybe like a 20-minute bus route to school or something, so it was just like double that, and I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Oh, whatever.
Yeah, like, oh, this works.
I just listen to some cool tunes and dream away in my little bus seat. It's great.
So what was it like? I have no, it's always interesting to me, like when I get to meet people from different places to like hear about kind of like the similarities and differences in people's like childhoods and like growing up and stuff. And so like, were you, what, for example, like what kind of like, were there TV shows that everybody was into, or like what was like the hip toy? You know?
Well, I mean, since I'm 22 now, so I grew up like right in the shift of like Netflix being a thing, you know, like like the whole thing.
Shit.
Yeah, and having like iPhones and stuff. So like I had the beginning of my childhood was just like TV and toys.
Yeah.
And then like when we grew up around 10 or something, that's like when the shift started happening and where everyone had phones instead, and that was like, what kind of apps do you have? Do you have to cut the rope? Oh yeah, I have cut the rope. My parents are rich, and it's like, oh, I don't have that. I thought I have like, it's just for bougie people, you know. And it was that kind of.
And
thing.
in hindsight, it's like €5 for
yeah.
the rope.
Exactly. It's just like, wow, okay, shit, I could have paid for that. Well, but it was also like, you know, it's a bit.
Yeah, that's interesting because like I'm 31 and I remember specifically, like when I was in elementary school, for example, they still had the old system at the library where you would have to use these like paper cards.
Paper cards?
I know, crazy,
What?
right?
Yeah.
To like find where the books were, and then we like spent a whole year learning this system, and then the next year they just got computers, and they're like, yeah, you can just Google it now.
It's fine,
Like,
it's fine, yeah.
And at the time, I remember being like, this is bullshit.
Hey now.
Yeah.
Come on.
I just learned the card system. But so I don't know. It's interesting to think about, like, so that the like more of the like in thing was like what apps you had, and
yeah.
like was Snapchat then also like a thing that was just starting when you were like a teenager?
Yeah, I think like 12, 13 or something. That's when that started
shit.
happening. And I remember specifically being so annoyed by this app because it's so dumb. Like, I still think it's dumb, but I use it all the time now because it's dumb.
Yeah.
You know, it's so easy. Like, especially now that I have like friends in Sweden or like wherever and so on. Like, a great way of just keeping in like contact is just like every day keeping that little dumb streak, and then you just take like a double chin picture. It's like,
Yeah.
And then you just like, oh, I talked to my friends today. And then like sometimes when you actually have something to say, like, oh, I just like had a blowjob even though I don't have a penis. And they're like, oh, great, amazing. You know, and that's like that's a way
Fire
of
emoji, fire emoji.
Exactly. It's so easy. It's just like, I don't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
Just so easy to keep in contact with people nowadays.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh.
So you go to school in Sweden, and then like how did you end up starting to come to Berlin? Like, did you work for a little while before you came here, or?
I mean, the whole thing was like, so I was a acting major in high school, and then I just...
Wait, you can major in acting in high school?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
We have like these programs, right? So we have nature, we have society, and then we have the aesthetic programs. And I went in the aesthetic program, and that's like picture, film, or theater, and so on.
Yeah.
And I went at the theater program, and then there was this... So this is both like one of, I wouldn't call it a mistake, but it kind of ended up being not the right path at all because, okay, so there was this school that came to my school like at the end of my year, and they were like, okay, so we have this like amazing acting school in New Zealand, like we want international students and so on, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll try that. Yeah, I'll do it. And then I was like super amped and like psyched, and like, holy shit, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, I'm going to fucking New Zealand.
Yeah, and I fucking did, right? And I did it, and I was there, and I was just like, I fucking hate acting so much. I hate it. I hate it so much. I was just like, fuck, what am I doing? And then I started working instead, and I hated acting for a while. And then I got into comedy, actually, like in New Zealand, because I was like, because it is like acting, but it's like the fun part of acting, and it's instant feedback, and there's nothing to like hide behind or anything. It's like if you tell a bad joke, like you're telling a bad joke.
Yeah.
People are gonna let you know that like that sucks.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, okay. So it's just like instantly, you know, like instant feedback. You can work on it very easily, and then just like, or not easily, but you know, like it's easy to see what worked, what didn't work, and then you can like kind of like shift it around. And then I was.
Did you also like the like kind of like ownership aspect? Because I feel like that's also a weird part of acting where it's like you're saying someone else's words, and then there's another person telling you kind of like how you should say it better. And in comedy, it's like you're the producer, director, writer, actor.
Yeah. That's also fun. But I actually like the acting part about that too, because then you have like a set script, and then you have like, because that's like just the basics, and then you can like kind of like play around with it, just like. In general, like then you can focus on just how you're saying it and how you're portraying it, and if a person is saying like, oh, I do more of this or more than that, like you have a manager basically, or a director. But anyway, but like with comedy, it's like you are, as you say, like your own boss with everything, so that's like way more pressure, but also it's way more fun because then you can write and. Again, but then you also only have yourself to blame, man. Yeah. It's like if it doesn't work, it's like, oh, it's me. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you don't like my original plot. Oh, okay. No,
like,
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just something I wrote down. I thought about it again and again and repeated it to you guys.
Exactly.
But no, that's okay.
It's fine. I just like put my heart and soul in it. It's fine. Okay, I'm not funny. Okay, fine.
Okay, so to go back to this like, so I guess it's like the equivalent of your high school then, where there's this like the aesthetic, the nature.
Yeah. That's high school. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there some like rivalry between the different groups? Like, would you guys still have classes with each other?
Oh no, I mean like it's sometimes, because that's the thing. Like usually we had like our own class, and then we'd had everything together and so on. But then you have like individual choices as well, and then you have like I think 1 or 2 classes that you choose per year, and that's like with everyone in like either aesthetics or nature or so on. But like it was still like pretty okay, I guess. But then usually it's just like, since we had different buildings, it was just like the artsy people in one building, and then we had like the people with future in the other buildings, you know, those hardworking people.
Yeah, people who are going to earn salary.
Exactly.
And what was the dynamic like? Because like in my high school, for example, I went to like kind of a bit of a hippie high school, and the drama kids were like the cool kid, like they were really like the top of the food chain. Like they were like there was even an incident in my high school where like the American football team did like a poster, and then the drama kids like did a parody of it, and like were like basically burning the football team, and the administration had to be like, tell the drama kids to stop bullying the football players.
Oh my god, what? Is that like Twilight Zone or something? What's going on?
I know.
Oh wow, yeah, no, we weren't the cool kids at all. We really weren't. I think the music kids were like the cool kids in my school, because they were like, you know, they were often like really good as well. We were just like acting kids.
Yeah,
like we had an audition at first, like in order to get in, but like I don't even think they really like cared. Like the teacher was just like, oh yeah, we need 30 like students, and yeah, okay, you guys are 30, come on.
Yeah.
You know? Like the music people, they actually had to like do proper work, you know. So I don't know.
Play like a song and
exactly.
Yeah.
What we had to do was just like, oh yeah, no, I like acting because I think it's fun, and they're like, yeah, cool, man, good, yeah.
And would you guys do like improv and stuff, or?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, like we had like the way we used to do it, if I remember correctly, we had like 10 weeks of regular classes, and then we had it like extra speed because like I don't know, like the other ones had it over 15 weeks or something, but we have 5 weeks of just theater where we actually put on like productions and so on. They were really bad most of the time, but still we anyway, you know, high school kids, we don't we just figured out that weed was fun, you know. We're like, what? Oh wow. And then anyway, it was fun.
Like, we're gonna do theater.
Yeah, exactly. And then like, you know, the production value was of a 15-year-old smoking weed.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. But then again, like yeah, then we had like usually like the warm-up things and so on was like usually like improv and doing different focus things. I'm not really sure like what. Again, yeah, I'm not really sure what we did. I don't think the teachers did either. Yeah. Like just do something or like yes, we will, my friend.
Do you remember like did you you know like doing more like serious monologue stuff, or did you like doing like silly game? Are there funny plays? Like, because I feel like there's all of the theater that I know is either like serious kind of thing or just like musical theater.
Yeah. No, like unfortunately, or actually I think fortunately for the spectators, we didn't do any musicals. But we did like I remember the first thing, oh no, this is bringing back really cringy memories, because okay, I remember the first production that we did. It was supposed to be funny. It was meant to be funny, and it could have been funny. But also like our director, I think it was her first time directing as well, and then she just had she had great ideas and so on, but like it was just anyway. So the thing was, I think I forgot what it was called, but like it was this very unknown piece that was meant to only be played once at a book fair where a comic book was released, because it was based on comic book characters.
Okay.
And like the thing was, like, it's a cool idea, but like we have at least 1 hour and 30 minutes of playtime to actually like fill, right?
Yeah.
And the manuscript for this one was just like maybe 30 pages. And that ended up being only like 20 minutes worth of.
You're like, what are we gonna do with these last 70 minutes?
Yeah, and we're all like, because I remember we all like we practiced and we did all the things, and then in order to actually make it like as effective as possible, we had like different groups trying different scenes, and then we had like. And we did that. We practiced like a few people every day, like in different groups, for at least 2 weeks, and then we have 3 weeks left. And then like that was the time we were like, okay, now it's almost time, right? And then we tried to play it through like everything in one go. Anyway, I think it was like 19 minutes.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I'm getting anxiety just like.
And like I remember because all the actors are like my students, like the students were just like confused, like, what? Like, is this like? Did we miss something or something? And the teacher was just like
flipping through the pages. There has to be more here,
right? And the teacher was just like, oh,
yeah.
Oh, hey now, this isn't.
You know what? Smoke break.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then we were all like super confused because like the script was like, it was fine for a book fair, right? It was fine for just doing that once for diehard fans for this like comic book that is really obscure and no one knows anything about. That would be great, but like for a 1.5 hour production where it's like, a lot. Oh my God, I'm just getting anxious again. Just thinking about it because it was just so embarrassing because we couldn't do anything. We were like way into deep. And then also like the solution of the whole thing was like, she's just like, well, just take take some breaks, like in between your lines, like just say it's more slowly.
The solution was talk slower.
Yeah,
she's like, we got 70 minutes to fill, so just talk really slow.
Yeah, and like, I mean, it was meant to be like jokes and like, like timing. So it's just like, it just like slowed the entire thing down so much, and everyone was just so confused. It's like, did they forget their lines? They're like, no, this is just what we're supposed to do. Yeah. We're just supposed to have like a half a minute of silence looking around.
This is all part of it. We're building tension. Yeah. There's going to be the punchline at the end is great. I promise.
Yes. And then we had to do that the last 2 weeks, I think. We had to have 5... No, wait, it must have been more than 5 shows every day. Like at least like one morning one and one afternoon one, and then a few like during the nighttime, or like nighttime, like like at 7 or something for all the proud parents coming around. And it was just like everyone just like, it was at that time because everyone joked about it at first. It's like, oh, this is so bad. And then just like, but we have to do it now. Over and over and over and over again. And everyone was just so quiet and just tired all the time, and like no one said anything. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm up. Yeah,
did you like warn your parents ahead of time?
Yeah.
Like, this is not gonna.
All the time, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not into this, guys. You don't have to come at all. And I remember like on the way home, because my mom was there. It was like really nice. It's like, it wasn't that bad. And then I just like something just flipped in my mind. I'm like, you know what? Thank you, but also no. And I went on this like 20-minute long rant. Just like, it was just so like we could. Oh
God. So, because you had this great theater experience and you thought, like, more. I should do more.
Yeah, exactly. No, but the other productions were actually, like, really fun because we had this one teacher who was, like, just, like, she should have been on an actual, like, theater, like, production. She was, like, freaking great, and she was actually, like, super professional, but, like, I don't know, she became, somewhere along the way, she became a teacher, poor soul.
Yeah.
So she started directing us, and those were actually like fun, real good. But again, like it was high school, so it's kids.
Yeah. But did you guys have like a theater at the high school and everything? And...
Yeah.
That's
so that
cool.
was fun. Yes, it was actually really cool. Like, but mostly it was for the music students. But we had like we kind of snuck.
Yeah, we're like we can be here.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you decide this school comes and they're like, hey, there's an acting school in New Zealand, and you're like, was leaving Sweden something that you had thought a lot about, or was it just kind of you're like, I don't know what to do next, this seems like a cool opportunity, or
I'm not sure really. I think it mostly was just like an opportunity. I'm like very opportunistic, so like usually I just like, okay, if this happens, like I should at least try, you know, like I gotta do it and stuff. And like, but this time I was also like, as soon as I started like really thinking about it, like I was very like excited to go abroad and like do this and so on. But
was your mom okay with it? Like, was
oh
she?
yeah, she was like, okay, yeah, no, I have dogs, it's fine.
Yeah. She's like, honestly, I won't notice that you're gone. Like,
yeah, they took my room after. It's fine, the dogs.
Yeah.
So when I got back,
the dogs put bunk beds in your room.
Exactly. It's like when I came back, I was like, yeah, no, it wasn't really for me. They're like, oh, well, do you have a place to stay?
Yeah.
It's like,
we got 17 more dogs, and there's no room for you anymore.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
It's fine. It worked out. I crashed on a couch instead. No,
yeah. No, but so you go over to New Zealand, and at this point, you're like 19?
18, 19?
18, 19?
Something like that, yeah.
And was there like a culture shock at all for you being in New Zealand? Or like was that transition pretty easy?
It was actually pretty easy. I think the only thing was just like the acting, because I've never really been around like it's just like, you know, like
was there a difference basically in like in high school? It's like kids are like having fun doing theater versus like in a university setting, it's people who are like, I recite Hamlet in the mirror every night before I go to bed. And
I mean, yeah, both of that, but then also like I was kind of that kid also in high school, but then I kind of not burned out, but then I was just like, okay, maybe I'm like, it's more fun if I take it like less, like if I'm not a bore about it, you know? But then when I got there, like it was super talented people and they were like super good at what they were doing, but I'm like, it wasn't really a culture shock. It was just like, I'm used to doing my thing, if you know what I mean. And therefore, like, I kind of went to comedy instead. Because again, like, I just need that instant feedback. I just need to get, like, I need to be able to see my progress. I can't just, like, do, like, several hours of one thing for 4 weeks and then, like, not see like what's going on. If people are just, no, just keep on doing that. I'm like, what? Am I doing it correctly though? Yeah. Is it okay? And it's like, well, yeah, you're gonna notice a difference, but when, my friend, when? And then I just go like crazy. So that's why I think that was the whole thing. Like, but I don't think it was like a New Zealand thing or like versus my culture.
It was more just like a personal,
Yeah.
I had a similar, like, it's funny. When I was a kid growing up, I was like really into sports, and but I was also very unathletic. Like I grew up a little bit more in the musical theater side,
fun.
And so then at like 7 or 8, I was like, I need to connect with guys. Like I'm gonna get into sports, And so then I was like, I'll be a sports announcer because that's like the most theatrical part of sports. And then I was like obsessed with this idea. I was like, I'm gonna be an announcer. And then when I was like 21, I was like, I don't like sports.
It's just like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah. Like I studied this. I did internships at like sports television stations. And then I was like, oh, shit. Like,
it's like, I don't like this at all. What's going on? Is this sports? What?
Wait, this is sports? This is the sports everybody keeps talking about?
It's like, what?
Yeah. So I could kind of like that feeling of like you're like, oh, I'm into this thing, and then you get to some point where you're like,
maybe not.
Maybe this isn't it. Like, so you're in New Zealand. How do you like get the idea to do comedy? Because that's not like a totally normal compulsion. I mean, I'm saying as someone who's also strange enough to be like, let me get up in front of all of you guys.
Well, I mean, I think it was just like, because I've always been like, I wouldn't say class clown because it wasn't voluntary. It was like, you know, it was just like, I've always been laughed at. So I think that was just like kind of in the back of my like in the back of my head of like, okay, I gotta switch this. I gotta laugh. I gotta make them laugh with me. Okay. Yeah. So I started doing that like when I was younger and so on. And then I just like, I guess I'm a bit egocentrical, and that's why I went into acting in the first place. I'm like a stage, and people are forced to listen to me. And
but there'll be a spotlight, right?
Exactly. And then like the natural thing of that would be like the natural like progression of that. It's like, okay, I'm on a stage, people are forced to listen to me, and also it's because I'm funny, you know. So I was like, I'm gonna get in on that. Yeah. attention. Yeah, no, but like I don't know. I just like telling stories. Basically, I think that's funny. Like not real stories because that's scary, man.
Yeah.
Like I like lying. That's
Yeah.
fun. That's what I'm into.
Yeah, like so this idea they use it like that like the kids were laughing at you. Like this is something I also like. I feel like my sense of humor came from me being like, oh, if I burn myself the hardest, then your burns on me look kind of stupid.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like, haha, I hate myself more.
Yeah. No one can hate me. Hate me more than I hate me. Yeah.
Haha, you losers, I win.
Do you like? Is that something though that you like can reflect on and be like, like I guess for me, I would say. I think I was a bit of like, I didn't socialize enough as a small child. And so I had a hard time when I was a bit younger, like dealing with kids. And then like I have two moms. And so like kids were also a little bit like, you're weird. Like, so was there something for you where they like, your mom has 5 grades?
You know, it wasn't actually that much about like it was mostly my siblings, man. They were like really ruthless. Holy, but
shit.
Yeah. But that was the whole thing. Like we were like really mean to each other as kids, right? But I don't think none of us really got how bad it was, you know, until like recently. And it's just like, oh shit, that was like, because I was like,
gnarly.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, okay, so that was kind of where I did it. And then like when I was in school, I was like kind of like just like fine, I guess, and that's where I try to be like, haha, I'm funny instead. I'm not bullied at home, it's fine, because I'm like the youngest as well, and then like
okay,
yeah.
How many of you guys, like how many are you?
3. So there's
3?
Yeah, so it's my sister and my brother, my the 2 oldest, and they like kind of they had like a bond like from the beginning, you know, because they were actually like they were both musicians and they're fun and smart, and I'm just like, hello guys,
Can I hang out?
Yeah, basically, I'm like, no, you're so annoying, which I was, but still, I'm like, come on guys, let me hang out with you, and then I would just ruin their game because I thought it was funny. Again, I was a horrible child again, so like I get why they didn't
like, no,
like
it's
me.
a bit. I ruined the game because it was funny. Like,
I'm just a fun person. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, no. So I don't think it was any of that actually. I think it's just like mostly like.
Are you guys like friendly now, or?
Yeah. I'm really close with my sister actually. My brother is in Canada, so he also just like ran away after a while. Yeah. He's like, it's freaking crazy. I always forget what he did study, but it is cognitive behavioral something with a profile of artificial intelligence. Yes, exactly. I'm just like,
just thinking about
I'm just like, dude, okay, do your thing and do your weird pling plong guitar things, and that's good.
Yeah.
Like I support you from afar. I just don't understand anything. I'm like, yeah,
Send
cool.
us some maple syrup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah. So then like, did someone to go back to the acting school thing, like was there someone at the school who was like, oh, there's an open mic, do you want to come, or were you like, did you watch a lot of comedy when you were growing up?
Yeah, mostly, but that was just like on TV and stuff, and like YouTube and so on, because I really liked that. I thought it was very funny, and I was like, maybe I'll see if they have some live comedy around this part. And then they did, but like it was a very small scene though, because it was I live in Wellington, and that's a pretty small town. It's like it is like the capital city, but it's really small again. Like, it's just like 2 people. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Cool. I can get into this. This is good. This is like my home village. No? Yeah. But it was like a really like friendly group and stuff. And it was just like, yeah, it was fun. It was fun to check out. Like I mostly watched actually, but I think I did like 1 or 2 sets over there, and then I started properly in Berlin when I got here, like maybe a year ago or something.
Okay. So, did you like? Because I also in my like process, like I went a couple times before I went up, and for me, I felt like there was also something soothing in seeing other people doing it, because I'm like, oh, like. You could be bad. Like, not to be rude. I mean, obviously, there's also people who do really well, but like, you see some people, you're like, oh, like it's okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, everyone's learning here.
Yeah.
It's great. Yes. But it's also refreshing to see like new faces, and especially when people try like new stuff, and sometimes it just like doesn't land the first time, but then they try it and just tweak it a little bit, and it's like, oh, that's really funny. I was like, oh, you're a funny beat, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know?
You cracked it.
Yes. Yeah, no, I think it's like really cool to actually see that when people like you know, like move things around and then it's like, oh, that really worked well. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Smart one. No, but still, it's cool.
Yeah. Wait, so when you were like getting into like comedy and stuff when you were like growing up, was it more like Swedish stuff, or were you watching like English comedy from the start, or is there like a Swedish comedy scene?
Yeah, there is, but it's quite small as well. Like I think it's now just recently opened up for like, especially like an international scene as well. But usually, it's all in Stockholm mostly, and a bit in Gothenburg, from what I understood. Like a bunch of people start out there, but then it's like Stockholm where everything's happening. Like I haven't tried it in Swedish at all, actually. Like that thought just terrifies me because it's like no, that's my language. This is my language. I'm not. No,
It's too real if it's in my language.
Exactly. Like I'm not gonna do that. I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
But like there are like a couple of like really funny Swedish comedians that I really admire. But I think I started like watching just like normal like American ones and English ones like Ricky Gervais, and so
Oh yeah.
funny dude, and like just like their like sitcoms and stuff like that. But then like when I actually got into like comedy is pretty funny, then I started like looking into like Swedish ones as well, but mostly I think it was mostly American.
Like in Stockholm, is there like a version of like kind of like The Tonight Show or something on Swedish television, or like Saturday Night Live, or you know what I mean? Like
I mean, I think we tried that several times, but they always get shut down because no one's watching them.
So people are like, nah.
Like, no, this is not for you. It's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, fine. Leave it to the people in America. Fine, we tried.
Yeah.
No, I think like mostly it's just like the live things, like when you're actually going to clubs and so on. Like that's where people go to see it, maybe. And then some people have like their own specials, like with Comedy Central and so on. But like, I think the closest would be. Yeah, I don't think we have any of those. I mean, like we have similar, but like not that popular. I think.
Okay, so and then you come to Berlin, and like how did you discover this like whole English? I guess you were telling me before you had your roommate is somehow involved in comedy. Was he the one who was like, you should come to Berlin, or?
No, I was actually here with an ex-partner at first, and then like because I was already going to Europe, and then he was going there as well, and he's like, you should come to Berlin as well, and then I was like, well, and then it was cool, so I stayed.
This Berlin place is not so bad.
Yeah, because I had thoughts about like actually like going around Europe as well, because I like. Yes, I mean, it's a cool continent, isn't it?
It's a nice place.
Yeah, it's fine. And I've mostly just been in Sweden before, so it's just like, okay, I might as well try Berlin, and then things
Did
just
you
happen.
have any thought of like wanting to stay in New Zealand, or after that year were you just like, I'm ready to like do something new?
I mean, I had thoughts about it, but mostly it was just like, I think that was mostly just like a dream.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yes, I shall live on a farm here instead.
Yeah.
But then also, no, wait, I have to have like a proper job and like actually, you know, like work my way up in order to actually be able to buy a house. So I might as well have a fun life for a while first. And then like, if the dream persists, then I'll hopefully have like money when I'm like 50 or something. And then I could do that.
Me too.
Yes.
Me too.
Now I'm just in the mood of working normally and not saving that much.
So you came to Berlin and you were like, ooh, Berlin.
Ooh.
And so then how did you then find out about like the open mic scene here? Or were you already thinking like, oh, after New Zealand, you're like, oh, I want to like see what the situation is here?
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to continue the whole thing, because then I also heard that there was like a large like English open mic scene here, and that was like, I was like, oh, cool, because there wasn't that much opportunities for open mics. There were like a couple in New Zealand, but then again, like it was like here, like it was such a shock, because here it's like sometimes you can do like 2 2 like every night. Like, I mean, technically you could probably do like 3 when it's not when it's not Corona times. But like again, like there's so much going on where you have to like pick and choose and so on. So there's a lot of room for trying.
Yeah, which is like
fun.
The whole thing.
Exactly.
I like this thing that we're doing now with our hands. This is trying. Look at us trying.
Trying my best here.
Try.
Trying my best here.
Yeah. So, and what, like, I've been asking, because I've been doing like a few of these interviews with like different people that I've met, and I've been asking everybody just like, what has been your like process as far as like trying to write? Also, like now that you can't go, because I feel like I get good ideas and I'm like, ooh, let me write that down, and then I just can't do anything else with it without being able to like.
I get those as well, but this was like my process even before as well, because usually I like when I'm writing or doing something, I like to drink as well, and which also like helps sometimes, right? Like then you get an idea, it's like, oh, that's a funny thought, and then you can like sometimes you can actually get a joke, but then it's like I drink a bit more, and then when I wake up, I'm just like, this is just pure nonsense. Like, this does not mean anything at all. I have no idea what, like I wasted like 3 hours of my life for this. It's just like, oh, God.
For dogs' ears are funny.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like dumb stuff. I'm like, what? And like I remember one because I like checked my notes on my phone a couple of weeks ago, because I'm like, oh, I haven't like written something in a while. I'm like, oh, what do I have here? It was just like gross stuff about like boogers are funny and stuff like that. I'm like, oh wow, wow, maybe I'm not funny. Probably not.
Yeah. I do feel like that's something I miss so much right now, because like I do these like stupid like comedy sketches on my YouTube channel or whatever, and like when you do those, it's just like you're just like I spend like all this time, I like edit it, I put it out, and then it's like there's nothing, like you don't have any of that response. You're just screaming into the chasm of the internet, and then you're well, 20 people liked this. That's, I mean, well, 20 people watched it. I don't know if they liked it.
Well, I mean, they didn't leave a dislike, so come on.
Yeah. I'll take it. Take it.
If they don't say anything, I'll say it for them, okay?
Yeah. Well, so is there any like bit idea that you have that you're working on right now that you're like, I can't tell if this is like funny or not?
Ooh.
Besides just boogers generally? Like, are we talking like flicking boogers or like nose picking?
I think it was like when I tried to, I should check this out again because I can't even remember. I think I might be connected with another really gross story that I think is hilarious, but I know that it's just so nasty. But I think it's okay. It was when I was I don't know how old I was, but I don't know. I had a pneumonia, but without realizing I had pneumonia.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was again like I just like it's just a cough, you know. But even though like it actually like what happened,
like coughing up blood, you're like, that's normal, it's fine.
I'm a tough cookie, it's fine.
Oh, there's some dog hair in there.
It's like that's the culprit. No, but I remember it was just like because I was just like I always have that thing as well. Like as soon as something gets real, I get like into denial about it. I'm like, it's fine, that's fine. Yeah. But like if I get like just a small cold or something, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, but this was like I realized like this is a really nasty cough, like, and this was pre-corona, right? So it wasn't like that, okay? Anyway, but it was just like, oh, this is nasty, this is not good and all. Ugh. But anyway, I continued to smoke because I'm a smart person, I care about my health, I'm so great, and it just got like worse and worse, obviously.
Wait, I'm just trying to track this, but like, so you were sick with like a terrible cough and the smoking wasn't helping?
No, it's
not
so
at all.
Weird. No. It made it worse, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I thought it was gonna be fine, right? Because I mean, like, if it burns down, like something, maybe like it's fire. It must like kill bacteria, right?
Yeah, that's always been my understanding.
Yeah. But apparently, like, I don't know. Maybe honestly, I smoked wrong.
Yeah, I get like I'm happy you're bringing this story forward because I feel like people need to know like this is if this is a problem out there, like smoking doesn't cure coughs. That's
if you need help to quit smoking, I will not help, actually. I don't think. Yeah, no.
So anyways,
It's fun.
you have pneumonia. You're taking care of it.
I'm taking care of it, like, it was amazingly. And then, anyway, I was in the car with my mom, and then I just had, like, this coughing fit, right? And I was wearing a green jacket, and I was just like, oh, excuse me. And I was, like, coughing and coughing. And then while I was putting my, like, elbow away, because I was very polite, I was coughing into my elbow, I just see how this green blob that looked like to be a part of my jacket just, like, came up in my mouth. I was like, what's going on? And then I realized, no, it's like a huge phlegm drop on my elbow that is still connected to my throat as I'm pulling it away. And I'm just, like, staring at it, and I was like, what? And my mom is, like, driving. She's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, she's actually, like, saying, like, she swears. She's like, oh, my God, what is that? I was like, And then, like, I start laughing because I think it's funny because it's gross, and I think gross things are funny. Yeah. And then I start coughing more because I'm laughing, and then just...
it's just like...
it just becomes more and more. And my mom is, like, screaming. She's like, what are you doing? Like, stop it. And I'm like, oh, fun. And then I have to, I'll be, like, we're on the highway, so we can't just, like, pull over or do anything. So I just have to, like, pull down the window and, like, like, stick my arm out, and then the blob won't let go of my arm. So
it's just like in the wind, like.
Yes. And I'm just like, it won't come off. And then my mom's just, like, panicking because it's so gross. And I'm like, oh, there's coming more, because I'm, like, still laughing. And then finally it's let go, but I don't know if it, like, ended up in someone's windshield or something. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's a highway. I don't. But anyway, I think it's one of those stories I think about sometimes before I fall asleep, and I'm like,
good times.
Good memories.
But I have to say, my big question from that is, like, how would someone say, like, oh, fucking goddamn it in Swedish? Because I'm assuming your mom said this in...
Yeah, she's like, för i helvete, Mats. And Mats is my nickname. It's like, för i helvete, Mats! And I was like, I'm like, oh.
That's fun. I like that. I couldn't... I feel like if I tried to repeat it, it would sound like I was doing, like, parcel tongue from Harry Potter's, like... I mean,
like, it's not that far off, actually. Parcel tongue in Swedish. I mean, we can speak to snakes. It's great. Like,
is there, like, a long history of dark arts in Sweden? Or
probably, but you know, like, I'm not, like, allowed to tell, because then the Swedish
because I'm
council,
a muggle, basically.
Yeah, the Swedish council will be like, no, you're not a Swede anymore, and then they have to, like, erase my memory and all that, and then. I have to move to New Zealand again, and so
it's a whole thing. Well, I don't want to put you through that. So,
no, that's
we can edit that part out.
Yeah,
you know,
thank you.
Just out of respect. Okay, so I have a couple more questions, and then we can wrap up. I was wondering, what is the worst job that you've ever had?
Ooh. I think it might be one of the ones I have now, because I'm working at different ones, but one of the ones that I'm, like, on and off on, because I work with, like, contracts, and therefore, like, now I'm having, like, my full-time job now is, like, really fun, but I just have to do, like, short contracts because it's different projects that we're working on, and blah, 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 blah. So I always have, like, this in the background kind of thing, and it is being a chat moderator. And what that is basically, like, how they said, like, how the job description was basically, you chat with customers. Sometimes, I mean, they put it out as a customer service type of thing, but in reality, it's just, like, a fake dating site.
Wait.
Yes, and it's me and my colleagues. Most of them are men, by the way, and we have different profiles. We're hired to just answer questions, and then they have a profile for every thing. I don't know, and then you see all the information about this person, where it's like, okay, today I am Alina, and I'm, like, 25 years old, and I work in hospital or something. And then you have to write accordingly, because then they have, like, real people asking, like, oh, do you want to go out sometime? And they're like, no, I can't, because I'm not a real person.
Wait, so, but, like, why? I have so many questions, and I don't know even what any of them are somehow. Like,
it's a very confusing job, man.
This sounds like fake business, basically.
Yes, I'm pretty sure they're really shady about it. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, hi. I'm just like, because.
So, but the people who are using the dating site, who are trying they think that they're on like a kind of like a Bumble, Tinder type of.
I think so. Yeah. But like
the people aren't real.
Some of them are real, but most people are not real because they're like supposed to be like fun characters, but also they have like a little heart by the side of their profile in order to show, because it's like in terms and conditions, like some of these people are not real or something. But apparently people don't really read anything. Like even
To be fair, I never read the terms and conditions.
no, but still, like in some, I think it's pretty obvious because there it is like again
And so, but like the business model is like, oh, people are gonna enjoy like doing some kind of like fun improv with these like characters that are also within, or that they could practice how they would talk to a real person with the character.
I think it's just people who I think the company just wants money, and they're just like, oh, keep the customers happy, like pretend it's a fantasy thing, and just say yes to everything unless they want to meet you, because that you can't do that. You are not real. And it's like, oh, okay, fine. And then
how much are you allowed to take some kind of like make some choices with the characters?
No, because that's also like it's not our characters at all. Like we're just hired to answer messages for the character. So like we have one message, and then I see the profile there, and then I like write accordingly, and then like as soon as I click send, there's another message from another person who's speaking to another thing, and then I'm like, okay, what's this profile? And it's just
I'm so I'm so fascinated, and I still somehow have no idea what's going on.
No, me neither. Most of the time, just like, what? Okay, what? And then it's just like some people are like, yes, I have, like, but that's also a thing though. Some people are just like so. Like something like one of the real people that are like writing, and they're so like not careful at all what they're writing. They're like writing email addresses, like phone numbers, like addresses, like physical addresses, like come to my house. It's just like, dude, first of all, I could be anyone.
Yeah.
I am anyone.
Yeah.
Like, if I were a horrible person, even if I was this Alina person, I could, like, don't write that on the internet.
Yeah.
It's just like 2 messages in. They're like, come meet me. It's like,
this is the security code on the back of my credit card.
Yeah, basically. It's just like, dude, no. No.
So I guess it's like the service is also for, like, just lonely people?
I think so, yeah.
Oh,
it's so sad.
It got sad at the end.
It's
it was
very
funny,
sad.
and then,
yeah, well, I mean, I'm a slut for paying rent, so
Yeah.
I do whatever I can, bro.
but like, will the people say like what kind of questions are they asking?
Usually it's like some people, because I know that they must know deep down that it's not real, because I mean, like, usually it's around like 40-year-old people, and they're talking to someone who says they're 18, right? And so they're like, oh, I love older men, hooray, which is fine. I'm not judging, but still, it's like, dude, come on. And then like she says yes to everything. It's like, oh, do you think I'm pretty? It's like, yes. It's like, do you like my car? Yes. And then like, oh, I'm in love with you, I think. And they're like, yes. And it's like, no, I think they all know, but also it's like, I don't know, man.
I guess it's like,
I don't
it's
think
like I mean,
I'm just following orders, man.
Yeah, I guess it's not any different than like a romance novel or like an interactive game where you're getting like these connections with like hot video game characters or something.
Yeah, I think that's what the site is trying to like kind of sneakily show as well, like just like how they're trying to do it, like, oh, it's an online like role playing thing, but then also it kind of looks like a dating site. Some people think it's a dating site, and then it's just like, no, dude. No, it's not.
Yeah. I love you. I love your car. I think you're so beautiful, but I will never meet you.
Yeah, exactly.
We can be like a Romeo and Juliet,
But it's also like sometimes it's just like, because I mean, like, that's the only thing. Like, we're never, like, those are the only rules. We're not allowed to say that it's like fictional. We're not allowed to meet anyone. We're not allowed to suggest times or anything. So it's just like, sometimes it's just like the dumbest excuses. Like, my dog fell and he is late for work. I have to drive him to work. And the guy's like, oh, okay, so you don't want to see me? No, I want to see you. Okay, fine.
He's like, do I need to PayPal you some money for the vet?
But it's like, I don't know. It's just like, oh, God. But, like, you know what? It was during Corona times as well that I got it at first. And then it's just like, because I mean, like I was usually I'm usually a bartender from the beginning, and then like all bars shut down, so I was like, okay, well, I need to do something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'll do this for now. And then I was just like, as soon as I just got it way more into it, I was like, oh no, oh no, I'm horrible, but also, yay, paycheck, but oh no.
I have to say, like, maybe I have like a little bit of a like weird, like, voyeuristic part of me, but there would also be something fascinating about like seeing the people like messaging and like the stuff that they're saying about their lives. And
I mean, it has really given me a like, I mean, like I wouldn't get this view of another person otherwise. It's like, oh wow, this is interesting. Okay, cool. Usually people just speak about what they're eating as well, which is really weird. Yeah, it's like, what did you have for dinner? Oh, I had this and this and this. It's like, cool, man. Great.
Do they ask you what you had for dinner?
Yeah. And then I have to be like, oh, chicken. I love chicken, man. It's the best. And they're like, oh, I don't like chicken. Oh, me neither. I hate chicken.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
I'm so sick right now from this chicken because it's terrible.
Oh, God, why did I ever do this?
Yeah. Did you just find this job like online or something?
Yeah. Because I was like,
you're like, the world's ending.
I need something.
I need to do something.
Yeah.
Somehow I'm not allowed to work, but also I still have to pay rent, which I
Yeah,
don't understand where
it's
the
like-
justice is in this.
It's like, okay, yeah. Well, and again, like when I first applied, like it was supposed to be, because then I had to do like obviously a test and so on, and like some of it was for like IT things, and then I had a script, and then I would like write that, and then they had like the other one which is like online fantasy thing, and then like just pretend you're whatever, and then I was like, I did that. And they're like, you did so well. And I'm like, what? Thank you. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And then I realized, like, oh, wait, no, the other stuff was just fake. This is just what they wanted.
Yeah.
Like, okay, fine. Well, I guess I'm stuck with this for a while.
Do you talk to the other people who are working at the company, like who are also sending the messages? Like, are you guys like, Jim is messaging me again? Yeah, and he's still talking about potatoes. I don't know what this guy's deal is with potatoes, but
No, unfortunately, we only have like the coaches or whatever, which are kind of like the managers ish, and that like kind of look so like everyone's following the rules and so on. But sometimes we have a little bit of a contact. But like, oh, I remember once I was stuck, because that's the thing. Like, we just get like we're never like one of the characters like fully. We just get the messages, right? And then it was like this one. Like, I got stuck on this one chat where I could just read the whole thing, and everyone was just dodging the bullet. In order to be, because like she was speaking to, like, the profile was speaking to this musician dude, and he's like, they were speaking about like songwriting or something, and one of the chat operators said like, oh, I have a song in my head, and then he's like, oh, write it, and then like of course it was like the next person, and they're like, I'm not gonna write a fucking song.
Yeah.
They're like, no, I'm so shy, ha ha ha. And then he's like, no, please do it. And then it was again like another chat operator who's like, oh fuck, I don't want to write a song. So like, no, I'm so shy and stuff. And then it just went on like that for like 5 messages, and then it was on me, and I was like, okay, I can't not say anything. So I had to write like the dumbest shit ever. Like, just like, because I can't write songs. I was like, the sky is blue and birds are singing hooray and stuff like that. And then when I sent it, I was like, oh. And then like a couple of minutes later, it just got like a thumbs up from a coach. I was like, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I had to write an amazing song for you guys. I should get paid more.
Yeah. Oh, that's really, like, how funny would it be later, like, at some point you turn on the radio and you just hear, like, the sky is blue, like, he's, like, finished the song, he did a chord arrangement, like, like, I wrote those lyrics.
Yeah. Oh my God, he stole my song!
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was, oh. Yeah,
But so, do people get, like, gross with you guys on there?
Oh, yeah, all the time. It's just, like, sometimes... Again, I should get paid more. I see sometimes people just, again, why do people just send like vulnerable stuff like that? Sometimes it's just like naked. I'm like, no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. So I'm like, oh, wow, that looks great. Also, can you put your clothes back on?
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Oh my God, I love it so much. Please don't send any more of those.
exactly. Like, oh, fuck. Yeah, no, I don't
Just
know.
the managers.
Yeah, basically. Good Good save, man.
Yeah. Oh, that's fascinating. So when bars open back up, are you like, I'm done with this, or are you a little
Hopefully,
bit
yeah.
like, I'm in this world now? Like,
I don't know the outside anymore.
I'm a fake chat messenger now.
No, as soon as bars open up again, I will hopefully get that instead. Because I'm like, I feel, it's just like.
Also, to go from bartending, which is like a job where it's like, to me, seems like it's all like personal interaction and like people, and then to be at a job where you're just like at a computer screen, like kind of isolated. I mean, it's like a very different.
Yeah. Like, I really like bartending just because there's always something happening, and it's fun to be like on the other side as well. Because I'm usually the drunk one, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm usually the annoying like drunk chick at the bar. Like, now I'm like on the other side, and I get to see like, oh, is that how I act? Oh wow. Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah. You're like taking some notes.
It's like, okay, don't drop pants.
Yeah.
It freaks people out. Okay.
Yeah.
I wish I knew this before.
Food off floor, not good.
Not good eat. No.
Yeah, do you have any like tips or tricks when you have to deal with like drunk people? Because as someone who enjoys having a few adult cocktails now and again, I like being drunk, but it's funny, I have like very little patience for people when they're drunk and I'm sober, even though I'm the loudest, probably most obnoxious drunk. At least that's what my friends tell me.
Yeah, well, I think most people are like that, right? Like, when you're drunk, then you have fun. You're like, hey, yo. But then when you're sober and around the same type of drugs, it's like, oh, I would never.
Together.
Yeah, I would never. Oh, have some self-respect, man. But, no, like, I think it's just, like, normal that everyone's like that. I don't think it's, like, really, like, tips or something. I would just say, like, I usually just go to, like, head manager. Like, yeah, no, that guy, like, tried to steal beers or something, and I can't drop kick them.
Yeah.
So help.
I'm not the drop kicker.
Yes. So please help me. No, but usually it's just like, be nice and listen to like dumb stories, and if the dumb stories become way more like rambly and weird, it's just like, okay, you're cut off. But also have some water, man. Have some water. But I mean, like, still, dumb stories are great. I love dumb stories.
Yeah.
Most of my stories are dumb, so I love listening to it.
You're like, this isn't gonna have a point, is it?
Wow. Please go on, though.
Yeah. So the last things I wanted to ask were, one, is there something that you feel like people don't know about? Like, is there a common misconception about Sweden, or something that's like a part of the culture or the country that you feel like is missed when you talk to people here, or like when you were in New Zealand?
Like, actually, a very current thing is that no one in Sweden believes in herd immunity, okay? It's just our dumb politicians, right? Like, we had nothing to do with that. Everyone else is like, okay, I know masks are great. It's good. Everyone go. Like, we should all get vaccinated. It was the government, right?
Yeah.
They are portraying it as we wanted it to be, like, real, like herd immunity and stuff like that. But no, we had nothing to...
Yeah.
Not my choice. Not my choice. No.
I have to say that a lot as an American. It wasn't me. I moved.
Yeah. Okay. This ain't on me, okay?
Yeah. And then the last thing was, I stole this from another podcast.
Oh, fun.
Which I know you said, like, maybe you should get into podcasts. You made it weird.
Okay.
Great one. I'm just going to recommend other people's podcasts on my podcast. It's like no, but he always does the thing at the end where he's like, is there a time you remember laughing super hard? And it could be like, at a show. The example I always think of if I had been a guest on his podcast was like when I was little, me and my friend Matt Addis would rent VHS tapes, which I'm really dating myself now, but we would go to there were these things called video stores. And,
what?
Yeah, I know, it's wild. It's pretty wild.
Oh my God.
But we would get VHS tapes of this show called The Three Stooges.
Yeah.
And would just laugh like so hard at them just like falling out of windows and like getting hit on heads with boards. That was my level of humor. So that's an example. Is there anything that comes to mind?
Well, after another example of just how terrible me and my siblings were when we were growing up, and our type of humor was that my brother and I would go on this online chat forum for like people in general, like also like usually like around our age, and there would be like virtual animals and so on, and then it was just like a chat thing where people were like, oh, do you like Harry Styles or stuff like that. And then it was right around the time the last Harry Potter book came out, or maybe it was the last Harry Potter movie or something, I don't know. And we were like, I was 7 at the time, so he was 9, and we went on there and we just wrote everyone who died. Just like completely ruined it in a matter of seconds for some people. And we're like, yeah.
This is hilarious.
It's just like the most, like just the shittiest thing ever, like with no reason at all. It's just like,
Yeah.
Chaos.
You've been waiting for this for years.
Exactly.
Not anymore.
It's like, well, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, my friends, but this is great.
Yeah.
That's just, I don't know, just like the worst. We were just the worst children alive. We were very quiet though. We didn't cause a lot of trouble unless it was online and could be traced back to us.
Like, we used a VPN. It was
Yeah.
fine.
That's right.
Everything's good. Well, awesome. Thank you. Is there anything else you feel like you want to add, or anything at all? We also don't have to. I can also just be like, that was so nice. Thank you. I really laughed. I giggled and it was fun.
Amazing. Me too, my friend. That was, yes, I don't have anything to add, actually. Thank you for the sparkling water. It's very good.
That's what you get at the Laugh at Pat podcast. Yeah. Good hosting. I have sparkling still. I have a selection of beverages for all my guests. Well, thank you. That was super fun.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.